guys, it's me, Shalimar Johnson, the host of SatHERdays with Shalimar J. And girl, embrace it. I am here to give you all an update, a good update, that is. So, normally we air live on YouTube every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl, Embrace It. Well, SatHERdays with Shalimar J, which is going to be the same flow of Girl, Embrace It, airs every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Preach the Word Worldwide Network. And what I decided to do was to still give you all something at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook, as well as girlembraceit.com website. What I'm doing is giving you all behind the scenes, unedited, raw, full effect conversation with the guests after the show that we have aired at 9 a.m. So guys, join me twice a day on Saturdays, 9 a.m. on Preach the Word Worldwide Network, which you can find it on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. You can go to ptwwntv.com and watch it live on Preach the Word Worldwide Network's website. You also are able to go in and look at it on various channels on DirecTV, on demand, the list goes on, and you can find those channels at ptwwntv.com. But as I was saying, watch me again at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for SatHERdays with Shalimar J on Preach the Word Network, and also at 4 p.m. or anytime after 4, because you can still go on to YouTube and replay these segments as often as you want. Go to YouTube at Girl Embrace It TV, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and get the after the show, behind the scenes, raw, unedited conversations with my guests for that day. All right, guys, it's been real. Thank you for your time. God is doing a new thing. He is doing a great thing, and I am so excited. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Shalimar Johnson, Girl Embrace It TV, Girl Embrace It television show, SatHERdays with Shalimar J. I appreciate it all. Bye, guys. Until next time. Cut you off because you had reverenced the presence of the Lord at the moment. And so I was like, nope, we're not going to do that because I am not going to get into trouble later on by my daddy, because I said, oh, girl, on that note, thank you for talking. You have a wonderful day. But Shimeka, I appreciate you so much for sharing with us your story, girl. You know, there are so many people who can relate to the Shimeka at 14 now, who are our age, that can say, oh yeah, when I was that age, I was dealing with some stuff, and yeah, I remember. Yep, I sure did that. Even parents, I think about mothers and fathers who may not even think that their child could be dealing with something. It's like, oh, my son or my daughter, they just go in a room, they're a teenager, turn on the video game, close the door, and they're in their room all day, and it's just them being kids and teenagers who don't want to deal with their parents because it's like, no, don't want to do it. But that may not necessarily be it. I think that your sharing of your testimony opened the eyes of so many different people for various reasons. Girl, you did some good stuff today. I thank you for your transparency, your willingness to share, literally, through the book, and then today through just sharing your story verbally. I'm like, wow. And I'm a visual person, and when I hear things, I see things, and I can see it beyond the moment right now. And oh my goodness, I know for a fact, ma'am, you did some good for a lot of people. We're just so that I can share really quickly to those who are watching right now, we're doing things a little bit different because SatHERdays with Shalimar J is on network television. So at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am airing on Preach the Word Network the show SatHERdays with Shalimar J. However, I am not getting away from the online TV because the Lord didn't tell me to do so. However, He did tell me we're going to shift it a little bit, and Girl Embrace It TV live online via YouTube and Facebook, and then also sharing on the website girlembraceit.com will be the behind the scenes, raw, unedited continuation of our segment for SatHERdays with Shalimar J at 9 a.m. primarily because when you're dealing with network TV, you got time constraints, right? So I only have a certain period of time, literally to the second, but sometimes the conversation's got to travel on some. You're like, we're not done. And, like I said, I didn't want to cut the Holy Spirit and be like, shut him down. So we've got to continue. And I know you were in the middle of going somewhere, Shimeka. Do you remember where you left off at? Just you don't. Well, I'll say this. You were talking about advice, and you were saying how even if you don't have a particular person that you can go to and talk to about what you're dealing with or what you feel you need to get out, talk to God about it and be all right and be comfortable with going before Him, laying on your face and talking to Him. And, for me, I've been there, not having someone to talk to. And it's the nature, I used to say that's just my lot, people, but my nature, and it has always been this way. I was counseling people before I even knew that's what I was doing. And I've always been the type of individual that wanted to help. I wanted to hear what a person's issue was and try to figure out the solution. And genuinely, I would give my advice, my heart, the clothes off my back. I've done it. And I'm always, where I was always in a situation where I would hear. But then when the moment would come, when I needed somebody, couldn't find nobody. I'm like, I listened to you for 2 hours. You came and laid on my couch and was like, oh, I got to talk to you about my problems. So I'm thinking, not that at the moment, and I'm going to release you to talk more. Not that at the moment when I'm listening to you tell me about what you are experiencing, I'm in my mind saying, oh, okay, so I'm listening to you. That means you owe me one. So next go around is my turn. I'm not there. But subconsciously, you expect that. At some point, if I'm always listening to you, maybe you'll be the person that I can go to. And then when that time comes and it's like, you don't have time, okay. Maybe you had things planned. You have a life. Let me try you again next week. Next week comes, you don't have no time. And every time I come, there is no time. How do you get it out? Because I want to talk to somebody. So I've been there. I've had the experience of nobody and only had God. Like, okay, Lord, it's just me and you. And I'm new to this thing. I don't see you, but I think I'm supposed to feel you. I'm just gonna talk and hopefully I'll get an answer, right? So continue, if you will, talking about your journey when not knowing who else to talk to but God and how that helped you and the process. Because it's not, and correct me like I said earlier if I'm wrong, and I can stand corrected. It wasn't perfect in the beginning. It wasn't like you knew all the ways to talk to him. It wasn't like, oh yeah, child, I got this. Lord, hey, how you doing? We're gonna have this conversation today, and I know I'm gonna get my answers from you, and I got my pen and paper in hand. So what was your process?
It's funny that you asked me that because I used to have a best friend and she wasn't saved.
Mhm.
I was baptized at 8, but it's nothing I brag about because it can take a long time, especially when you're younger, but just depending on your walk, for me, it took a long time to move from religion to a relationship with God.
Ooh, girl. Title of your next book. Write it
Title of
down.
your book. Because you did say that you found your journals. I did hear that. Don't think I forgot.
Oh, Shamika, you need to reverse on me.
Which is a good segue to listen and do accordingly the first time you hear from God.
Oh my.
It's fun because again, I was talking about there's this delay you will experience a delay. You're going to delay so much. Take it from
Mhm.
me, I know.
Mhm.
And it's so much sweeter when we do it the way he told us to do it anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, Going back to my best friend, she wasn't saved. She didn't grow up in the church. And so I'm so glad for her because she used to pick my brain. And
Mm.
I guess she saw something in me that I didn't see. My parents were like,
Mhm.
you're going to church every Sunday. As I got older, okay, you're going out Saturday night, that's fine. But Sunday, you better have you behind in church. And I guess she noticed the Christ in me. And so
Okay.
she asked me questions just like you just asked me, well, when you said you heard from God, what do you mean? Like, what does that look like? She was curious. And
Mhm.
honestly, for me, it's been like, one day I was sitting down at the dining room table. My son had a cartoon on. I think it's Navatar or Navato, something like that. I don't know if you're familiar.
Naruto.
Thank you. That's it. And and there's things that I have been praying to God about that only He knows, and there's
Okay.
things that I might have shared with other people, but He will speak to me in different ways. Sometimes He'll answer a question that I've had through people. In this particular scenario, on the cartoon that day, I had been praying to God about I'm actually taking my memoir and changing it to a movie. And so I have a script. Thank you. I have a script written, and that's a whole nother story too. I could tell you like on another day. We need another hour for that.
Just come on back. We'll talk about the movie.
And long story short, and it's funny because when I say that, normally it's not short, but I'm going to be short this time. Long
Okay.
story short, that's something I have been praying about for years, and I am more confident now that it's going to happen. I don't worry about whether it's going to happen. It's just God's timing. But
Mhm.
I'm sitting there, I don't know, drinking coffee, doing some work, and on the cartoon, the gentleman says, "What? Um, are you saying my book is going to be a movie?" This is what they say on the cartoon.
Shimeka, what?
That
Okay.
is how God speaks to me. And last night, and I don't let me be clear about this too. God has called me to be transparent. He is not happy with those who have experienced him, who have been delivered, but they are not being honest and fully transparent with what they've experienced. So I know
Mhm.
that's a calling on me. Um, I lost my train of thought when I said that.
That God called you to be transparent.
But why was I saying that? Oh my gosh,
You
I
were
had a brain
talking
bubble.
about Naruto, and they said the book is going to be a movie. And you were saying how God deals with you in so many different ways. And
It's so embarrassing.
it's okay. You're being transparent,
Yes,
girl.
I am. Um, I guess I was saying all that to say that he speaks to me in different ways, whether it's, it was that day it was on the cartoon. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's a commercial, you know, prime example, we talked about, how I listened to Mary J. Blige when I was younger. And right now they have this commercial that I think it runs on Hallmark, and
Okay.
it's what's the 411? It,
Haha.
it just kind of touches on that part of the song. And
Uh-huh.
because that was such a big part of my life when I was a teenager and I was writing behind closed doors and I was, sad because I was never that girl in high school that had a boyfriend and,
Hmm.
just things girls think about, when
Yeah.
I hear that commercial now and I hear it all the time, to me, it's just another reminder. It's God speaking to me, just
Wow.
confirming it's going to happen. I think that's what I was trying to bring this around full circle too when I kind of had a brain bubble.
That's all right. It's all right, girl.
That sometimes it's not something so grand. It can be something as simple as that. The important thing is have your own personal relationship with God so that you can recognize it and identify it. So when he speaks to you, you know it's him, because just because
Yep.
that's how he speaks to me is not necessarily how he's going to speak to you.
Nope. And that takes practice. I've said this before. I've kind of like given this analogy in times past, other conversations. I might have even preached this once, but it's like a baby and a parent, right? When the baby is born, you don't find out what he or she looks like or sounds like until the cry, until they come out. But you're able to identify your baby's cry because you're listening to it over and over again. The baby is communicating to you in that way. And so, because the baby's communicating to you, you're available to hear the words that are coming out of the baby's mouth. And so now both of you all have this understanding of who each other is. The baby understands that when I cry out, mommy or daddy responds, or this person responds to my cry. So if I need to get them, I got to cry out so that they come to my rescue. Mom, dad understands, oh, because it could be a room full of crying babies, but I know my baby's cry because I've always listened to his or her cry when they called me. And so it works the same way. And as time progresses, when the baby is able to start understanding language, they'll know mommy and daddy's voice because mommy and daddy's constantly talking to the baby. You communicate back and forth. I know how you sound because we're talking. I know how you sound because we're talking. And it works the same way with God. The more you are in conversation and communication with him, the more you'll be able to recognize when it's him that's really giving you the direction and the instruction. Because flesh is flesh. We think
Mhm,
we're human.
mhm,
So I'm gonna hear myself thinking, and I need to be able to know that it ain't me, it's you, oh Lord. I'm not listening to Shalimar's thoughts and ideas and instructions. It's really yours, and I know it's you because last time when we were having a conversation, it sounded like this. So it's important, like you were saying, to communicate.
mhm.
Um, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And sometimes people feel like the only time to really talk to God is at crisis, and that's not the case.
Woo.
So it's like, well, I didn't really have a reason to talk to him. Nothing happened. And no, baby, that's every day. It doesn't
And
have to be a Lord, get me out. It can be a Lord, I thank you. You are so wonderful. You are amazing. You woke me up. I'm able to talk to you now because of you. So it's not always in crisis.
that is exactly what the book is about. Faith for every round. Because at some point, a light bulb went off. After 10 years,
Mm, mm,
finally the light bulb went off. Shimeka, how many times are you going to only come to me because you need something?
mm.
How many times are you going to let what you see with your natural eyes bring you down to this state where you're just like, the world is ending? How many times? It allowed me to look back over my life and appreciate every season in my life that he brought me through. And that's why it's faith for every round, so that you're not, your being is not based on circumstances. Your
Yep.
attitude, your mindset. Mindset is everything. That's a big one that I've learned this year is mindset.
Hmm.
You can get so much further in what God has called you to do and the desires of your heart if you get your mind set. And for me, keep my mind stayed on him. When I keep my mind stayed on him, I'm in communication with him, I'm listening for him. Whew.
I'm traveling down memory lane, Shamika, right now. Um, I'm and I'm thinking about how before I knew the significance of what we're talking about now, but when I got the revelation and I began at the moment that I got revelation to say, oh, that is what God was doing way back then. That's what he did last month. This is why if we get out of the way and learn patience, I had to learn it. I didn't have it. Learn how to be patient and trust in God for real.
Mm-hmm.
Trust. Yeah, circumstances they happen and we put ourselves in some of those situations. But we got to believe that there is a God that says he'll get us out. Now, there are some requirements. You know, you can't just decide to do wrong and be like, oh, the Lord gonna get me up out of his, I'ma just no, it doesn't quite work that way.
No.
We got repentance for a reason. God knew who we were, what we were gonna do, gave us a way out. We don't go back. Your heart has to be. We can't fool God. You say something out your mouth, your heart feeling something else. He's looking like, really? Do you really think? And I've been there sometimes. I just because I didn't know any better. I say what it is, what I thought I wanted to say, and what He wanted to hear. Lord, I'm not gonna do it again. Knowing in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I will. But I'm assuming He didn't hear the back of my mind part. God just heard what I said, so He's gonna believe me. And as time progressed, I realized that's why it didn't work out like I wanted it or felt that it should have. Back when I was asking God about it, it isn't about a God that isn't real. It was
Mm-hmm.
about a prayer that was fake,
Mm-hmm.
a heart that wasn't pure,
Mm-hmm.
a false reality, a lack of understanding. That was why it didn't manifest itself. It has nothing to do with the reality or the realness of the God that we're praying to. He's real for real, and I just sometimes I say, I wish I knew then what I know now. But I stopped saying that, Shimeka, because
Yeah.
if I knew then what I know now, I would not have a story to tell. I would
Mm.
not have had an experience. I would not. Now, some stuff I probably could have been like, now, Shalimar girl, now you really didn't have to do that. But for the most part, and when I tell you I got some stories, oh my Lord. But for the most part, I'm grateful. I'm so I'm so grateful because I now see it as an opportunity to help somebody from a real place. I'm not talking about textbook therapy. This is not, I opened up the psychology book 101 and it says in these situations you apply this theory and you're
Right.
going to help it. No, I'm talking to you from a real place, a real experience,
That's
and
it.
I am reminding you or introducing you to a real God who's got a
That's
real answer.
that's it.
And girl, yeah, you made me. I traveled for a minute.
Are you
Give me some minute, girl. I don't know what round I was in. I was in some round somewhere. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But yeah, and your book makes so much sense. It makes sense. Every round is like a level, and even if you think about a boxing match, it intensifies as you go, and then sometimes it falls down because you get tired.
Yeah.
So you hype on the first round. Everybody throwing their punches, trying to knock them out first round. And whoo, second round, you might have a little bit of your win. By the time you get to the third round, it's like, oh man, when is this thing going to be over? But you get this second win from somewhere. You go to that corner, you get your little win back. You come back up ready, greased up and all. Get knocked down, you get back up again. I'm
I
not
love
losing this fight. I'm going to win. One of y'all not going to win unless it ends up being a draw at the end, right? So I get it. But you got to be ready
yeah.
for every round, and
And
it will not always be the same. Huh?
God, God will always, He will also test your vision. Any vision He gives you, He's going to test it. And so when I tell you, writing the book, publishing it gladly, He is constantly showing up and revealing new things to me throughout this process.
Mm,
Um, you know, I can't take credit for any of it. And even just the word faith, I heard that 1,000 times in church. I heard it
hmm
1,000 times that faith without works is dead, and what faith means. But through creating this book, I have learned that it's just not faith. It's not just saying faith. It's faith of the Son of God. It's His faith. It's His strength that carried me through, and that is still carrying me through, and that will carry anybody else that believes in Him through.
Right.
And so we think, you always hear the battle's not ours, but I mean, yeah, that's true too. But just know that this strength that I'm talking about it's never my strength. it's his strength, and it's putting your faith in his strength.
Mm.
Letting it go, like completely, like you have to surrender. You have to completely
Mhm.
surrender to what it is and let him use you. And a lot of, we just want things quick. We want it right away. We want it overnight. I too, I have not done everything the right way, but
Mhm.
I thank him for a second chance. This is a second, probably really the 1000th chance, just for the sake of keeping
Uh-huh.
it short and keeping it simple.
Right.
This is a second chance, and I don't regret anything, because if I did not do it the wrong way the first time, if I did not hide the first time, I wouldn't have this same reassurance that
Mhm.
I'm exactly where I need to be at.
Mhm.
Maybe I would not have been able to be transparent, like you mentioned earlier. So all of that was good for me. As the word says, it was good that I was afflicted.
Yes.
I am just resting in him.
Yeah.
I am in awe of him. And for me, it's so cool. Oh my God, are you telling me I could just share my story? I could just be myself and just talk about what I experienced in the encounter that I had with you? That's it. I
That's
can
it.
do that.
That's it. And you do it well. You've done it well. You have. And I I look at experiences differently now. In the moment, I would be a liar to say I have an experience that it kind of gives me a negative, let's just say a negative experience, whether that's an experience of pain or uncertainty or fear. I would be a liar to say I don't have those experiences, because I'm just God. You got this, God. I ain't gonna be, even though the Lord, the Bible says He hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but it doesn't mean it won't come, right? So now we have to cast that down when it comes our way. But where I find myself at now, after I have the moment, after I feel the fear, after I feel the anger or the anxiety, after I have my moment, I am now able to say, okay, God, this is for you. I know you're not going to leave me here. I can't see where it's going
Mhm.
to end, but I know it will come to an end, and it will come to an end for your glory. So let me
That's it.
experience this. I'll take it for you, because I know you're going to get me out of it. It makes the process easier. Doesn't
It
mean
really does.
it won't be hard. You'll have bumps. You have to duck a couple of hits,
Mhm.
right? But it makes it easier. The sting won't be as strong if you look at it from that perspective. Doesn't mean it won't sting. Doesn't mean you won't get a little
Right,
swole, but it makes it
right.
easier. Girl, I could talk. Let me those of you who weren't able to, I don't know if you can hear this dog in the background. I hope you don't, but I'm gonna throw it out there just in case you hear roof roof woof woof. Um, I don't care because it is what it is, and I got to get this out, and she does too. But I want you all to listen to what this trailer is saying about Shimeka. It's really talking to you all a little bit more in detail about her book and what it has to offer. If you did not tune in to see her show for SatHERdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Preach the Word Network, you missed a treat. But you are getting something exclusive behind the scenes, and you are able to hear a little bit more from her. Um, After the show. But I want to play this for you so that you can hear a little bit about her book. Here we go.
Dukes Up and Faith for Every Round, a memoir by author Shimeka Dukes, is an amazing book that will allow you to experience the power of healing through faith-driven writing and reflection. In this tell-all book, she explains God's perfect plan to put her onto a new path. After years of knockouts and hiding from herself and God, find out how she found the strength to emerge from her secret place, to share the faith-filled messages that God etched into her heart. Author, writer Shimeka Dukes stirring verses will take you on a journey through her life experiences and reveal how God gave her direction, healing, joy, life, love, a second chance, and most of all, wisdom for every season. Order your copy today. Dukes Up and Faith for Every Round, a memoir by author Shimeka Dukes, available at dukesupbooks.com and also amazon.com.
Faith for every round. Enough said. Enough said. That's what you need. Faith for every round. I thank you all for joining us today. I thank you, Shimeka, for staying back a little bit longer just to give us some more of you. I do not believe that this is the end of our connection. I will continue to pray for you. And I pray even now that God continues to direct you, as I know He will, and that you are in a position where you can hear Him. And I again thank you for all that you've done. Oh my Lord. And you have done so much in a matter of what, an hour or some change. You have done so much in a short period of time. And I pray that God just continues to use you and blow your mind, as I know He has, because you said it without using those exact words. I want Him to blow your mind even some more, Shimeka. You deserve it, girl. So
Bless
thank
God.
you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you very
You
much.
are welcome. You are welcome. Until next time, guys, join us for SatHERdays with Shalimar J at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday on Preach the Word Network. And you can find us for Girl, Embrace It, the behind the scenes on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on YouTube or Facebook at Girl Embrace It TV. And of course, you can find this playing on the website at girlembraceit.com. Until next time, bye guys.